Heading east, an early test for the Giants. That's next on Curveballs and Changeups, a baseball podcast straight out of Sacramento. I'm Steve Harmon, and this is a podcast for Giants fans and baseball fans in general. No straight fastballs here, folks, just a bunch of off-speed pitches to keep the hitters off balance. Maybe a few cutters and some riding heat just to keep you honest. I played the game. I once hit a grand slam home run in an over 30 baseball league. Sure, it was off a 46-year-old airline pilot, and the wind was blowing out, but I got a good swing on it and sent it over the tall left field fence, 360 feet out. I covered the Baby Giants as a sports writer in the 1980s and early 90s. I've been a baseball fan since 1967 when the kid down the block introduced me and my brothers to the Giants. My podcast tries to fill the gaps that may be left out on other platforms. But also I want to be sure that we don't let the season get away from us. We should stop for a moment and look around, allow what just happened to sink in a bit. Make sure we don't forget some of the high notes and some low ones too, before we move along too quickly onto the next game and the next. And a note, I've decided to split up my analyses of the A's and the Giants. I've got separate episodes dedicated to either team so that the fans of one team don't have to wade through material of the team that they're not necessarily rooting for. So we'll have another episode up also on the A's, and if you want to listen to both, that's great. All right, well, quite a send-off there on Wednesday when the Giants were able to avoid a sweep. Would have been a really difficult sweep to have to carry across the country. So they were facing that sweep when they were down 5-1 through 5 innings and 6-1 after the 6th inning. But were able to make a nice comeback, 4 runs in the 6th inning. And then we're able to tie it in the 8th on Wilmer Flores' dramatic home run and win it on Mike Yastrzemski's game winner in the bottom of the 10th inning. If not for those dramatics, we're talking about a real dreary flight across. And, of course, they're facing the New York Yankees coming up over the weekend. And But so what they did was they ended that home stand with 4 wins in 6 games, and so they're now 9-3 on the season, right there with all top teams in the National League West. Right now they're squeezed within a half a game of each other. The Padres with a 10-3 record, the Giants with a 9-3 record, and the Dodgers at 10-4. So, and now they have their big test on the road. It'll be the Yankees first. Their record is, a little mediocre. It's 7-5. They lost 2 of 3 to the Tigers. They were able to salvage the last game of their series against the Tigers on Wednesday. But anytime you go into New York, it's a big scene, and you're facing the lineup that's got so much power. Of course, with those new torpedo bats, the balls are flying out. They've hit 26 home runs in, I think, like 6 games at home. As Mike Krukow said, you got to have some swagger going into that yard. But, if you take a look at their team a little deeper, they may not all be that. Their pitching is definitely something you can feast on. If you look at the matchups, the Giants have an edge in every matchup. It's going on Friday. It'll be Robbie Ray against Marcus Stroman, who has a 7.27 ERA. Then you have Jordan Hicks going up against Will Warren. I'm going to have to look him up to see who he is. He has a 6.0 ERA. And then on Sunday, a matchup between former teammates Logan Webb and Carlos Rodon, who has not started out that well, a 5.19 ERA. The whole New York Yankee pitching team ERA is 4.44. They're going to be able to miss their ace, Max Fried. And but so, of course, they will be having to contend with the torpedo bats and the massive power that the Yankees bring. The Yankees have a team batting average of .265 with 26 home runs through 12 games. Judge has 6 home runs. He leads the major leagues, tied with the A's Tyler Soderstrom with 6 home runs. He leads the major leagues with 20 RBI and has a .354 batting average. Paul Goldschmidt, everybody knows him from the Arizona Diamondbacks. He's hitting .383, although only 1 home run and 3 ribbies. So the power really is coming from Judge. and a few other stragglers in that lineup. And at Yankee Stadium, they do hit better there. They have a team batting average of 278 with a 357 on base and a 649 on base. Slugging percentage. And most of their power has come at home. 22 of their 26 home runs has come in 6 games at home. And ironically, the pitching has allowed only 7 home runs. As bad as they've done, overall, they have not been giving up the home runs. And then, of course, the road trip, it goes 10 games. It doesn't end at Yankee Stadium. They have to continue on to Philadelphia to play the Phillies, and they are hot. They've started out 8-3. They'll be finishing their series with the Braves today, and then the Cardinals on the road coming up before they return home to face the Giants in Philadelphia. And then the Giants have to play the Angels to finish up their road trip. And don't overlook them. They're 8-4 now. They're hitting home runs all over the place. Got 18 home runs in the last 5 games. So quite a test coming up for the Giants. And, they did have to go through a test of sorts in this past 3-day set against the Reds. They were shut out twice in a row. They had gone 20-some-odd innings in a row without scoring. They had been abysmal with runners in scoring position. So many opportunities to score. And we're talking about runners at third, runners at second and third with no outs, and they were unable to capitalize. And so when they were down 6-1, manager Bob Melvin was not feeling great about the Giants' chances. He said, quote, "After going 18 scoreless, it wasn't a great feeling. Once we got to 6-5, though, everyone knew we would win." But even at 6-5, the frustrations were there. There in the 7th inning, after they had scored those 4 runs to make it 6-5, the Giants had Jung-Hoo Lee at second base with nobody out, and they were unable to score him. He got up to third, but that was it. And so after Mike Yastrzemski popped out with Jung-Hoo Lee at third to end the bottom of the 7th, John Miller, the play-by-play Hall of Famer, said this. He said, "So it goes for the Giants. They've been their own worst enemy in so many ways in this game, and the big hits, with just a couple exceptions, have just not been there for them." Well, and it was very reasonable that John Miller was frustrated at that point, but it was great of course, he was the man who called Yastrzemski's game-winning home run just a few innings later, and what a turnabout! To Miller's point, the Giants, with runners in scoring positions with 2 outs before this last 3-game set at home, had a 342 batting average. That was before the series with the Reds. 342 batting average with runners in scoring positions. That's now down to 294. So that just shows how much of a plunge they had in that series. But all that changed in the bottom of the 8th inning when Wilmer Flores hit a first pitch home run to tie the game. And what a blast that was. Flores is showing that his bat speed is still elite. That pitch was 95 miles an hour in on his hands, and he whipped it around and got it, just a power shot over the left field wall and into the tunnel. And then the bottom of the 10th. Now, of course, let me just, before I get to that, you don't get to the bottom of the 10th inning with a chance to win this game without the effort of Eric Miller in the 10th, who was able to pitch around the ghost runner and strand him, striking out Ellie De La Cruz to start off the inning, which was huge. The Reds were unable to move him up to third, and then ultimately unable to score. And Eric Miller, once again, with a great effort, he got the win for it. And then, yes, Yastrzemski stepped up with that ghost runner on second base for the Giants. Didn't need it because on the very first pitch, again, a 95-mile-an-hour fastball in on the hands. He ripped it over the wall into the water for a 2-run home run and the game. And he was quoted as saying asked why he was able to do that on the first pitch. He said, "You've got to be ready to go because the first pitch could be the best you see." And that's just I think it's a great philosophy, and I think several of the Giants are following through on that. Still, there are some troubling signs out there. As a team, the Giants are hitting only .228. Their on base is only 288. An interesting little stat, a little nugget I found was that they've only hit 2 sacrifice fly balls. I don't know. I'd have to look to see how many opportunities they've had. Maybe they've gotten base hits in those situations, but there have been more opportunities that they did not cash in on that keep that number down. They've also struck out 110 times in 413 at-bats. That's like kind of a semi-full season and way too many strikeouts in 413 at-bats. The pitching has been doing very well. They've been holding up their end of the bargain, especially the bullpen. So overall, the Giants' pitching has a 2.78 ERA with a 1.17 WHIP. That's walks and hits per inning, over 110 innings. The bullpen, well, let's start with the starter. The starters have gone 64 and 2/3 innings, and they've given up 25 earned runs for a 3.48 ERA. And the bullpen has gone 45 and 1/3 innings with giving up only 9 earned runs for a 1.79 ERA. Looking at that number, there's one little alarming sign there, and that is the proportion of innings between the bullpen and the starters, I think, is a little too high. I think starters need to start taking more of the burden. And Melvin, this is all his choice. He's going to the bullpen earlier and earlier, as are managers throughout the league. I'll be having a comment on that later on. Yes, they lost 2 out of 3 to the Reds, but they allowed only the Giants pitchers allowed only 3 runs in the first 2 games of the series. And then, as I said, the bullpen has been doing great. They turned in 4 1/3 scoreless innings on Wednesday to give the Giants a chance to make that comeback. The starter in Wednesday, of course, was Justin Verlander. There's a little talk out there that his performance is raising questions of whether the Giants stay with him or how long they stay with him, and I think that is just ridiculous jabber. Justin Verlander, yeah, sure, in his first 2 starts there were definite worrisome signs, but in this last start, he should have given everybody pause to rethink any concerns and give folks some great confidence that he definitely has what it takes to stay on the mound. He struck out 9 in 5 1/3 innings. And if you take a look at the 5-run rally that the Reds came up with, it was really just a bunch of, worm killers, just a lot of ground balls that found holes and little fly balls that found the grass. And if you take a look at how hard the balls were hit, the hardest ball that was hit was 91 miles an hour. So there was not great contact in that inning. It was just unfortunate circumstances that hit Verlander. That grounder to second baseman Tyler Fitzgerald with the infield in the 3rd inning. It's the second time he's failed to keep a ball in the infield that he should have stopped. It went for a hit, but if he gloves that, at least he keeps it in the infield and saves a run. But if he gloves it cleanly, you get an out, maybe even 2. On those 9 strikeouts that Verlander had, he had 23 swings and misses. He had really sharp action on all of his pitches. Patrick Bailey, the catcher, Bob Melvin, and Verlander all said it was the best he's pitched all year. Melvin, here's his quote. He said, "It was incredibly unlucky. His stuff was good the whole game. It looks like he had a tough game, but man, I saw a 98. This is as good as he's been all year. He punched out 9. He deserved a better fate. I'm glad we picked him up." And Verlander, after the game, said, "That's the best I've felt in years, since 2022. I keep doing that, and I'll be fine." So let's hold off on the bandwagon to get Verlander out of the rotation. I think he's going to be fine, and I think you give him more starts to show that some of those ground balls will turn into outs. Melvin continued to praise the bottom of the order, especially the 6-7 spots in the lineup for producing. And that of course, he's talking about Mike Yastrzemski and Wilmer Flores. And it's interesting that he has that view that those guys are in run-producing spots. Traditionally, it's always been the 3 and 4 spots in the lineup. But what he is seeing is that a lot of the this setting the motion, setting the bases in motion is happening at the top of the order, 3, 4, 5, and then all of the action for the run producing is happening lower in the lineup, and that's what's happening. And now he did say that the top of the order is still struggling. We all know this. His quote was, "We still haven't got contributions we're going to get at the top, especially from Lamont and Willie," talking about Lamont Wade and Willie Adames. And so just imagine if Lamont starts getting a base. I mean, he is not hitting, but he's also not drawing the walks that everybody had expected him to at the top of the order to set the table for the rest of the order. So that's hurting the Giants right now. And then Willie Adames, he's hitting 184, has no home runs. He had that game-winning base hit in the home opener, but other than that, he's been pretty absent in the lineup. But I think most folks are expecting him to break out of it, and it could happen on the road as we move through the East. Other bats that are coming to life, Tyler Fitzgerald is, he had a nice afternoon hitting, at least, on Wednesday when he went 2 for 4 with a double and an RBI, and he went 3 for 8 on the homestand. So he's now hitting 219 after being on the interstate for a while. And then Patrick Bailey had a double and a triple on Wednesday and went 2 for 4 and on the homestand. He went 5 for 18, raising his batting average from 0.77 to 194. And then, of course, the continued hot bats of Jung-Hoo Lee, Wilmer Flores, and Mike Yastrzemski. Those are the three who have really carried the Giants. Lee is now hitting 333 after going 3 for 5. Flores went 3 for 4 on Wednesday with a game-tying home run, now has 5 home runs and 14 ribbies. And Yastrzemski went 2 for 5 with his game-winning home run, and now he's hitting 344. Yastrzemski and Lee are in the top 10 in NL hitting. Lee leads the majors with 7 doubles. Yastrzemski is second in on-base percentage at .462. Flores is tied with 6 others to lead the National League in home runs and is third in the National League with 14 ribbies. So they're producing at a national level. They're keeping pace with all of the top hitters in the National League. Now it's time for folks like Elliot Ramos and Matt Chapman to get off the schneid. Ramos went 0 for 12 in the series with the Reds, though there were a couple really hot shots that he had that were either robbed or just hit right at fielders. One when he had a chance to put the Giants on the board in that 1-0 game that Hunter Greene had over Logan Webb. It was with 2 outs and against the Reds reliever Santillan. He hit a bullet to left field that was robbed on a dive. He also hit a ball to the wall in center field. So 0 for 12 is a little misleading, but his batting average is now .235, and sometimes even those hard-hit line drives could start frustrations mounting. And then Matt Chapman is 0 for his last 15, and now he's hitting .205. Need to get those guys back on track. And as I said, Adames and Wade are really struggling. Adames went 1 for 12 against the Reds and now is hitting 184 with no homers. Lamont Wade, after his big home opener, he's gone 0 for 15. He's struggling before that. So now he's hitting 105 barely on the interstate. So, short porch in right field in Yankee Stadium might be what fixes this ailment. And Adames may need a little road cooking to get his bat going. And so I did want to go back to that Monday night game, the opener of the series between when he had Logan Webb going up against Hunter Greene in a second matchup of the two aces. It was a 1-0 outcome that the Giants lost, and it was really unfortunate that my view is that you had a duel going. It was a beautiful pitching duel between the two aces, and it was, I thought, a little premature to take Logan Webb out after 7 innings. He had thrown 97 pitches, but he was as effective as he's been all year long. 7 innings, 4 hits, shutout ball, no walks, struck out 10. His pitches were still dynamite, boring in on the hands of hitters. Just terrible, awkward swings by the Reds. And it seemed as if Bob Melvin had caught the affliction of just holding back his pitcher before reaching the 100-pitch count. And maybe we are still early. Yes, it is. It's early April. And maybe that is the mindset as we head into a season with a plan to stretch him out further on. I just don't have confidence that's going to be the case. It could be that Bob Melvin gives Logan Webb leash for another 15 pitches, maybe at the most, so 105 to 110 pitches, but it's still limiting them and keeping Webb from really reaching his true heights. He had a chance to match zeros all the way to the end with Hunter Greene. Now, I'm not advocating, necessarily having him go out there for 125 pitches at that point, but why not let him battle it out with Greene and see how this battle goes between these two really great right-handed pitchers in the National League. And then, so he was gone after 7 innings. It was kind of, I watched some of the body language in the dugout, and it looked like Webb was perfectly satisfied with being taken out and, watching the bullpen come in for him. And, of course, we saw Camilo Doval come in and just blow it up. And I guess you have pride over the work you've done, but I would hope that Logan Webb would see that and at some point tell Bob Melvin, I want to take responsibility for that. And so then you had Hunter Greene over on the other side, staying in the 8th and 9th innings. Now the difference was that Hunter Greene had kept his pitch count low, and the reason for that was that Giants hitters were trying to attack him on early in the count before they would get to this 2-strike count. And he was getting early swings and early outs, so was able to go into the 9th inning under 100 pitches, and actually had 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th inning. He allowed a base hit and then a walk for runners at first and second with 2 outs, and that was it for him because Terry Francona came hopping out of the dugout to yank him. And that was I just felt it was just not being aware of the moment. And you have a kid who has a chance for a shutout, and to me that's a definition of greatness. And now you don't have that. You had 1 out to go, and you could have been on the board for a shutout, and instead you had a no-name, faceless reliever coming on, and for the final out, almost backfired on him. That would have been extra delicious if Ramos's line drive had gotten down, and that would have backfired on Terry Francona. But it was just you go 8 2/3 innings. You should expect to want to get that shutout. And now watching Hunter Greene's reaction, it seemed as if he was fine with coming out. And that was a mentality that was a little disappointing to me. I felt like Hunter Greene should have fought for that last out. I see him, I compare him to some of the greats of the 60s and 70s, like Tom Seaver and Bob Gibson and Fergie Jenkins and some of those, even Don Drysdale, without the meanness maybe, but just as nasty and just as dominant. And why not strive to get that last out for a complete game to start establishing yourself as one of the greats? I thought Mike Kruko's comments when Francona came out were disappointing. He said Terry Francona is not going to allow Hunter Greene to lose this game tonight. It's like, why do you have to have that kind of mentality, that mindset in appraising this? Well, why? I mean, to me, it would be like Terry Francona is not going to allow him to finish this game. But it's this whole idea of protecting these pitchers from what? Defeat, from a bad experience, let him have the bad experience, but let him try to work through it and get the benefit of actually succeeding in that situation. I just thought that was too bad. And of course, the Logan Webb thing, I'm hoping that Webb pushes for more, that he wants more, and we shall see if that happens. All right, and that kind of works right into my little feature that I started in the last episode. I'm going to continue on this one. I call it the 100 pitch follies. It's a roll call of all the managerial decisions to yank starting pitchers who are doing just fine. I don't know if I should go through them all because there's so many. I'm telling you, there are probably 20 here, so I don't think I can get through them all. So maybe what I'll do is I'll look for the ones where we had pitchers, maybe who had the lead and then their bullpens lost it. So there was the Astros' Hayden Wesneski, who went 7 innings, gave up 3 hits, 2 runs, walked none, struck out 5, and was yanked when he was leading 3-2 to start the 8th inning. He had pitched only 82 pitches, and of course the bullpen winds up losing it. They lose 4-3 when he was doing just fine. 82 pitches. Why not give him one more inning? And then your bullpen isn't stretched for 2 innings in that game. Maybe you get your closer in there without with just 1 inning to go. And let's see, we had there's the Mets' Kodai Senga. He had given up no runs in 5 innings, only 77 pitches, and they took him out. I get it. He is coming back from injury last year, so they're doing a little protection over there. But he left with a 1-0 lead, and they needed 3 relievers to close that game out. There are other games. Here's one. The Cubs' Justin Steele had gone 7 innings, a 3-hit ball, no runs, walked 2, struck out 8, and was taken out after 91 pitches in a 7-0 win. Why do you need to use a bullpen in a 7-0 game when your starter is going strong, hasn't even reached 100 pitches? Maybe he gets through the 8th and 9th innings on, say, 20 more pitches. That's 110 pitches. So let's see, what else do we have here? We have, Tuesday, the Giants had Landon Roop going, and I'm not going to criticize this too much. He went 6 innings, gave up 1 run, walked none, struck out 4, gave up only 7 hits. But, he only threw 81 pitches. Is he not ready to go further? He lost that game 1-0. And his counterpart, Nick Lodolo, was taken out after 6 innings. He had shut the Giants out on 3 hits, walked 1, struck out 3, and he was gone after 87 pitches. It feels like you just don't trust your starting pitcher with a small lead like that, I guess. Let's see. We had, the Blue Jays, Easton Lucas, young guy. I think he's 27, 28 years old, but fairly new to the league. He had gone 5 1/3 innings, no runs, given up 3 hits, struck out 8, but was taken out of the game with a 4-0 lead after a 1-out single. It's not even that he was, having to face the tying run or anything like that. And they used 5 relievers to get through the rest of the game in a 6-1 win. And one point about this is the overuse of relievers. Right now, I might have to go dig through all the stats, but the use of relievers is so high at this point that at some point teams are going to have to back off that and start relying on their starting pitchers, or we're going to have a crisis among relievers in the league. There was, the Guardians' Ben Lively, who went 5 scoreless and only 2 hits against him, 3 walks, was taken out after 80 pitches. He got a no decision in that game, and later the Cleveland Guardians came around to win it, but they needed 5 pitchers to get that shutout. In the same game, it was against the White Sox. The White Sox starter, Shane Smith, had gone 6 scoreless, only 2 hits, only 1 walk, struck out 6, was taken out after 83 pitches, and he gets a no decision. I mean, why not just push these guys further? They're going great, and you're just going to tax your bullpen. There was, let's see, Freddie Peralta. He's a veteran, strong guy. He was taken out after 5 innings, gave up 1 run, and only 83 pitches, and they used 4 relievers to win that game in a 7-1 game. It seems just pointless to bring in relievers like that. I don't understand it. There's Detroit's Tarek Skubal, the former Cy Young pitcher, taken out after 6 innings, scoreless, 4 hits, no walks, 6 strikeouts, but he had thrown 87 pitches. He left with a 5-0 lead. They won over the Yankees. But once again, it's putting the ball in the hands of the bullpens. The one other problem with that is that that's 3 innings of the Yankees being able to hit against pitchers that they much rather hit against. Nobody wants to face Skubal, but they'll take their chances with the bullpen. They didn't this time, but there are plenty of other opportunities where the bullpen has blown it for the starting pitchers. There was Framber Valdez. He's the owner of a no-hitter in his career. He is typically goes deep in games, but in this one against Seattle, he goes 6 innings, scoreless innings, 2 hits, 1 walk, but is out after 94 pitches. That game ended in a 1-0 Astros win, so he gets a no decision. That was a 12-inning game. So then, of course, you had to use the bullpen the rest of the way. And how are they doing the next day is the question, or the next day after that. And then the Royals' Cole Reagans, one of the top pitchers in the league, taken out after 96 pitches, went 6 innings, just 1 run, struck out 11 over the Twins, but got a no decision because he didn't go deep enough in a 2-1 game. And that's the devaluation of the win for the pitchers. And the Tampa Bay Rays, Shane Baz goes 7 innings, allows only 2 runs on 3 hits, but is taken out after 96 pitches. He leaves with a 3-2 lead, but the Angels score 2 off the bullpen, and the Angels win. So the Rays have a chance to win this game, but hand it over to their bullpen and blow it. On Wednesday, Arizona's Brandon Pfaadt has 6 scoreless innings, 4 hits, 2 walks, less than 1 base runner an inning. But he's thrown 93 pitches, so he gets taken out. And Arizona wins 9-0. But, I mean, I hope next outing we'll see that he's increased his load and maybe he gets over 100 pitches. I'm not going to bet on that. Then we had Boston Red Sox Tanner Houck go 6 2/3, gave up 1 run on 5 hits, but is taken out in a 1-1 tie. He had just gotten a ground ball double play, had a runner on third with 2 outs, but he had thrown 90 pitches. I don't know if the decision was to take him out because he's at 90 pitches or because they didn't have confidence that he could get the rookie Alan Rodin with 2 outs. Yes, the bullpen loses the game later, 2-1 in the 11th inning. Same game, Toronto's Kevin Gausman, the pitcher for the Blue Jays against the Red Sox, he went 8 scoreless innings, gave up only 4 hits, no walks. That's a half a runner an inning, folks. That's Cy Young stuff. He was great in that game, struck out 10, but he gets taken out after 93 pitches. And a reliever gets to come in and get a vulture win with 2 scoreless innings. But come on, you got a guy with a masterpiece and you're going to take him out. All right, so, okay, let's see. Here's one. Detroit's John Flaherty. This guy's a veteran. He's been through the wars. He's been a good pitcher for a long time. Well, he's in a 0-0 game with the Yankees. Scoreless tie. It's 5 1/3 innings now. He's given up no runs on 3 hits. He's struck out 9, but they take him out after 92 pitches. And, of course, in the 7th inning, the Yankees score 2 in the 7th, and they win 4-3. So I guess what is in operation here is the mindset that victories don't matter for starting pitchers, and ultimately victories don't matter at all, because what you're doing is you're taking what could be a victory and whittling down your chances with a bullpen that isn't as good as your starting pitcher. In that same game, Max Fried goes 7 scoreless. He has 11 strikeouts and no walks in those 7 innings, but he gets taken out after 97 pitches. The bullpen almost blows it, and they gave up 3 runs in the 9th, but barely hold on for the win. But, stretch him out a little bit. You might get a couple more strikeouts and just a little more time in the bullpen for your relievers, which may help you down the line. Houston's Hunter Brown had gone 6 scoreless, only 2 hits, no walks, but he had thrown 98 pitches, so they took him out. And, of course, the 4 relievers combined to give up 7 runs over the last 2 2/3 innings for the loss. I don't know what pitchers think about that. I mean, what does Hunter Brown think when he's taken out? He's going great. Sure, he's gone 98 pitches, but I'm sure he's feeling pretty strong. And then to watch the bullpen just come in and just tear it up. I don't feel great for them. I feel bad. Let's see, the Twins' Joe Ryan goes 7 scoreless on a 2-hitter, no walks, gets taken out, and then 2 relievers get to glory in a combined shutout. I mean, Joe Ryan had thrown 85 pitches, and but yet has to share the glory. I guess he's fine with that, but why not give him a chance for a shutout? Let's see, the kid Max Meyer over at Miami, he's gone 6 2/3, no runs, 2 hits, 2 walks. But he's taken out. He's only thrown 82 pitches, but he gets taken out after giving up a leadoff single and a fly ball to left field when he's got a 2-0 lead. So that was too risky to keep him in there, right? Only 2 more here, folks. One, the second to last one is Mitch Keller. He went 7 1/3, scoreless innings, 4 hits, 1 walk. It's not like base runners were all over the place, but he had thrown 96 pitches, so he was taken out in a 0-0 game. The runners were at first and second, and they get out of it, and they stretch the game out into extra innings into the 13th before the Pirates win. But, I mean, do you really not trust your starting pitcher who has gone so well over 7 1/3 innings to get out of that little jam? All right, and once again, we have the winner of the sweepstakes of how many times do you take out a pitcher who's got a no-hitter? The Cardinals' Eric Fedde was taken out with a no-hitter after 6 innings. No hits, no runs, 4 walks, 2 strikeouts, taken out after 88 pitches. So the follies continue. I hope that this segment gets shorter as we go along, but I can't promise that. Not with the mindset that we seem to be under in this game of baseball at this point. Okay, well, that's all I have for today. Thank you for tuning in to Sacramento's Curveballs and Changeups with me, your host, Steve Harmon. You can find Sacramento's best baseball podcast on Apple Tunes, Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, and wherever else you can listen to podcasts. I'm on YouTube now, too, so you can get me there. Please hit the subscribe button so you can get notified when my next podcast is up. Until next time, lay off the slider low and away.